The Army Black Knights, West Point Black Knights, no matter what you call them, Army, had an amazing season. They only lost two games, one to the eventual runner up to the national championship, and one to one of the biggest rivals that any team could have in Navy. And by the way, I was saying that Navy was going to beat them for quite a while, and I was proved right. And I had valid reasons for saying that. It wasn't just being the fact that I'm a massive fan of Navy. But it doesn't take away what Bryson Daly and Army did. Army was an amazing team this year. Ugh, that was a bad taste in my mouth. That was a very bad taste in my mouth to be able to have to say that. But otherwise, I won't be covering Daly specifically because Daly is going out to serve his country. He is signing that check, so I have the ultimate respect for him. I have respect for Army. Still bad taste in my mouth whenever I hear that yeah, bad taste in my mouth to say anything good about them. But I'm going to have to do it an entire video because I'm covering AAC football teams, and well, this is a champions. So, let this old jarhead cover a team I don't want to speak good about, but let's do it.
Hey folks, this is Paul with Redneck Sports. I want to thank you for viewing my video, and I want to give you one thought process. There was a famous coach at the University of Tennessee by the name of General Robert Neyland. He had 6 maxims, but number 2 maxim is what everybody should apply to their life. Play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. That's how to live your life right there.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to cover is their schedule. Lehigh, ex- very excellent win. No joke. They should have been able to beat them. Florida Atlantic, uh, yeah, should have been a win. It was. Rice should have been a win. Was. Temple, yeah. Tulsa, yeah. UAB, well, I have a feeling that I could get a bunch of guys together that are my age and we could have taken out UAB. East Carolina, slightly better team, but still. Air Force, hey, took out a rival who was having a down year. North Texas, a lot closer, 14-3. Notre Dame smacked them down. Seriously, that should not have been such a smackdown, but it was because Notre Dame was that good this year. UTSA, good fight, and I'm not surprised. Tulane, much less of a fight than I was expecting. Navy, well, go Navy, beat Army, 31-13. I knew that the trio that had been holding down Navy all year were going to be able to beat Army. Doesn't mean that Daly and Udo were bad. It just means that, well, Navy was far better. And then they faced Louisiana Tech in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Good Lord. The names of these bowl games. Now, Louisiana Tech was a losing team, and it was because the team they were supposed to face got destroyed by the transfer portal. So they stepped away. So I mean, it was a really good. I mean, they went 12-2. Unlike Navy. They didn't get to beat a Power Four team in the bowl game. They faced one real team in Notre Dame, and Navy. Well, it's Navy. You know Navy's going to step up, and I'm not saying Navy isn't a real team, but you're looking at other than Tulane and Navy, they had a okay season. This is the luck that they get by being in a conference, a group of five conference. They get to have seasons like this now. Next season it won't be so easy, but let's take a look at the offense that they had this year. Okay, so Bryson Daly passed for 1,007 yards. He rushed for 1,659 yards. And Casey Reynolds was their leading receiver with 457 yards of receiving. Um, Daly passed or completed 54 of 103, 52.4% completion rate. Threw 9 touchdowns, had 4 interceptions. Dwayne Coleman 1-0. Bryson Daly 32 rushing touchdowns. Kanye Udo 10 rushing touchdowns. Noah Short 2 rushing touchdowns, and various other guys got other ones. 48 rushing touchdowns all year. 32 on Bryson Daly. That shows you how one-dimensional this team was this past year. And people are going to go, well, you're just. No, Jeff Monken had an amazing team, but it's still, the offense was exceedingly one-dimensional. And so they're going to have to figure out what to do this year. Now, on the receiving side, Casey Reynolds, 3 receiving touchdowns. He had 20 receptions, 457 yards. Noah Short, who's a running back, 17 receptions, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. Uh, Noah Short had 75 carries as a just doing rushing, 569 yards, 2 touchdowns. So Jeff Monken had an offense that won games. I can't fault him on that. Okay, it's just because of the type of offense, but a lot of these teams are now playing two teams that have similar offenses every year, so they're going to have to start being a little less one dimensional. But hey, they won games. 32, one person getting 32 rushing touchdowns. But that should tell you about their offense. Also makes you wonder about the AAC, but let's get into their defense. Let me get back to the point of my Navy. I love Navy. This is their biggest rival. So it really is difficult for me to be positive about Army. So I am sorry if I am not coming across as all that positive when I should be. But okay, on defense, Andon Thomas, linebacker, 93 tackles. That's not bad. Jaden Mays, cornerback, had 4 interceptions. That's not bad. Um, Andon Thomas had 93 tackles, 2 interceptions, half a sack. Caleb Fortner, 76 tackles, 2 sacks, no interceptions. Max Dominico, 60 tackles, 2 interceptions. Casey Larkin, 50 tackles, 3 interceptions. Um, you're looking at 18 interceptions. None of them returned back for a touchdown. Forced fumbles. They had five. Yeah, I mean, this was an okay defense. I mean, uh, Elo Modazi. Wow, that's a interesting name to have to try to pronounce. 6.5 sacks. Um, he really was the best at sacks. They didn't get a lot of sacks this year. 25 sacks overall. One person getting 6.5. Kyle Lewis had four. So that's 10.5 sacks right there. Eric Ford had two. It wasn't, they were getting to the quarterback twice a game, basically. Um, they were doing decent on interceptions. I mean, when you look at 28, that's over, or 18, sorry. You're looking at a little over one a game. They had guys that were able to give that scare to teams, but none of them were returned straight away. So that meant the offense had to get back out there. Barely any forced fumbles, but I mean, it was just a good watching Army, and I did. Another bad taste in my mouth. Um, Army had a decent defense. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. They had a decent defense. So maybe the game that I really paid attention to them, they weren't that they weren't having their best game. Maybe that's why I'm like going they got lucky because of the conference not being able to handle them. But, not a bad defense. I mean, when you got guys they have four guys with 50 or more tackles, you guys had decent two guys had decent sack numbers. You've got guys making four interceptions, two to four interceptions. Not many of them, but you got a couple of forced fumbles. Not a bad defense. I mean, it's not bad at all. Next year is a lot of question marks when it comes to Armin. Jeff Monken is 8-3 in bowl games. He's a good coach. I, I'm I'm not going to take that away from him. It's Army. Um, you take a look at Jeff Monken. He was a graduate assistant at Hawaii, Arizona State, coached different places, head coach of Morton High School in Illinois, head coach Georgia Southern, and has been at Army since 2014. He is 82 and 57 at Army. 38 and 16 at Georgia Southern. And that was when they were SoCon and they were in the FCS instead of the FBS. I he's not had a bad time at Army. And next year, taking a look at his schedule next year, okay, he opens up at Tarleton State, then he has to go to Kansas State. And then he's got pretty much the same schedule that he had this past year. Air Force. Okay, I'm not seeing Notre Dame on this schedule. Seriously, no Notre Dame. They've got Kansas State. That is their scariest game next year. That's it. I'm UTSA might give them problems. Navy should beat them easily. Air Force, don't think they'll be able to. Tulane, they're going to Tulane. Tulane's going to be looking to, take them out after last year. North Texas might give them problems. This is a very manageable schedule, unfortunately. Yes, I said unfortunately. Uh, Armies, Jeff Monken's going to have another good year. One of the advantages of being in a conference. But this has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.
I want to thank you for watching my video. And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, and comment. Y'all have a good day now.